Well, I assume that we're already recording. Thanks everyone for being here. Welcome to the Origin Community Call. We might keep it a little bit short today. There are a couple people that are unable to join us, and as usual, there's a lot going on. So we may not have an update from Origin Story today. We'll focus primarily on Origin Dollar topics. Most of them should be familiar from prior meetings, but we do have hopefully an update from Josh joining us today, as well as a demo of our current state of our on-chain governance DApp that Tom will show us, see how that's progressing. Then I think we might have a couple of people joining us for the first time, and we'd love to have them introduce themselves and hear more about what brought them to the call. And then we will check in on a couple of Sprint projects and see where things stand since we had a little bit of disruption over the past couple of weeks. And I think that pretty much covers it. There's a couple other things I wanted to check in with Daniel on and maybe a couple other people on the team, but that should be a good start, and maybe we'll get out of here in 30 or 40 minutes. If someone wouldn't mind sharing or pointing to the notes, the agenda in the side chat here on Discord, and then I think we probably already clicked the button to start the meeting and notify everyone that we're here. Let's start with any announcements or thanks to offer to anyone who's made contributions. Franck, do you want to kick that off?
Sure, yeah. I wanted to welcome Jonathan Snow. He's our data engineer joining the extended team. He's going to work on a bunch of data analysis. We're super excited to have him in the team. I don't know if he was able to join this call, but anyway, welcome, John. Looking forward to see all the data you're going to pull for OUSD. And then another exciting announcement, Shahul is going to transfer as a core team member in the OUSD team. He's a super talented full stack engineer, and he's looking forward to doing a lot of smart contract contributions. So I think it's going to be a great fit to have Shahul part of the team, and please welcome him. That's it for me. Back to you, Micah.
Great news on both fronts. Really looking forward to having both on the team. Thanks, Franck, for helping keep us organized. There is a proposal that I've got linked here in the notes. Maybe somebody can throw it in the side chat. Jeremy had submitted a proposal to Enzyme Finance, and what we really need is upvotes on that proposal for them to acknowledge it and move it forward. So please click on that link, log into to their governance system, and just give it an upvote. It's really all you need to do. You don't need to hold any of their tokens or do anything on chain. So thanks for helping out there. That's something that everyone can do to help push that initiative forward. And that is a proposal to integrate, a variety of our tokens in different ways and make sure that they're supported on Enzyme. Then we had a GitHub issue filed a little while ago that I wanted to remind everybody about. Tom had flagged the fact that Rinkeby is going away as Ethereum moves to proof of stake from proof of work. So we'll end up needing to transition to a different testnet. And I thought that was something we wouldn't have to worry about until next year, but Tom pointed out that Alchemy and maybe others will be transitioning sooner, and so that's something we'll have to do sooner rather than later. Not something we need to do in the next 2 weeks, but just wanted to flag it so we don't forget. Any other announcements or any topics that you don't see on the agenda that anybody would like to start with? Okay, we can jump into OUSD topics of various sorts. Josh, did you want to give an update after your trip to Korea?
Sure. Yeah, so just got back from Korea, where I was speaking at the BitO conference and also ETH Seoul. So at the BitO conference, got to speak on a stablecoin panel and talk about OUSD, along with Maker team and some other people who are working on stablecoins. That panel got lots of local press. CoinDesk Korea covered it, and a lot of other local outlets covered that. And then at ETH that was stream live. I got to talk about OGV and the VEOGV governance model that we came up with. And so that video, I linked it here in the notes if you're interested in checking that out. But that went really well. There was a lot of interest from the developers in the crowd and digging in on the token model that we came up with there. Afterwards, got to enjoy lunch with Vitalik and network with a bunch of other people in Korea. And overall, it was just really, really encouraging. The number of people who know Origin, are aware of what we're doing. So many people came up to me wanting to take a picture. Like, huge fan of Origin. I've never sold a single token. Like, people are just like, very, very aware of Origin. And it was very encouraging to see the amount of effort that we've put into that region, like really starting to pay off. Also got to meet with some of our exchange partners in Korea, so Upbid, Bitfam. Got to connect with them and talk about other marketing opportunities and other ways we can deepen our relationships there. Also had a good number of press interviews while I was there as well, and so we should see some additional press and articles coming out in Korea from that. So overall, really great trip. Great to reconnect with our Korean community and also meet some of the Origin team that are based there, as well as connect with other people in a broader ecosystem. So overall, great trip, and reminding me how important it is for us to be, investing in these local communities, as there's just so much activity that's going on in that space. Back to you, Micah.
Very cool. Look forward to seeing the press and all the different things that will come out of that trip. And we should. I think you might have linked some of those videos or recordings, but we should, if there are any, we should make sure that those don't slip through the cracks, and we point everybody to them.
Yep, I linked it in the notes, but we probably want to chop it up and post it on our own channels as well.
Yeah, I see. Perfect. Thanks. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, let's start with a demo from Tom, if you're ready, on current state of the governance staff, and then we can talk about some of the considerations there and what comes next.
Do you see my screen?
I do.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice one. Yeah, so we've been working on getting the governance UI to a usable V1 state. We had done some work on this before my time at Origin, about 6 months ago, I think, but it needed some rejigging. So yeah, there's been quite a beefy PR put up in the last couple of days by me, which actions all that work. So yeah, the idea for this was to kind of, take a lot of inspiration from the compound governance layout. It's really nice and clean, and it's something that, we could replicate on the OUSD side. So yeah, this is where it is right now. So when this goes live and when you land on governance.ousd.com, you'll have this summary view, which will tell you how many proposals are currently in the database, what the current vote supply is, and how many people are participating on these governance proposals. You'll also get some, like a summary of the leaderboard, how many addresses are voting, how many votes they have, what their vote weight is as a percentage of the total supply, and how many proposals they've voted on as well. So then when you click into one of these, you get a view which shows, the title, the status of the proposal, when it was created, who it was created by. So that's the proposer's address right there. The amount of votes that you have to allocate to this proposal, whether you want to vote for, against, or you want to abstain. You'll also get, similar to the compound view, this for and against UI, which I think is really handy for, at a glance seeing who's, voting for or against the proposal. And you'll also get a description, which is intended to give us more information about the proposal itself. You'll get to see what actions are attached to the proposal. So these will be fired automatically if a proposal passes. And then you just get a few more little details as well, like, the progress. So, the current block of the chain, when this proposal is due to start and when it's due to end. So yeah, I mean, that is it from the presentational side. I'm going to try and see if I've got one active where we could vote on it. Yeah, so this is what it looks like if you have votes in the bank that you've not yet allocated to a proposal. You'll be able to, you'll see the total then, and you can click this button if you want to contribute to that. So let me just see if I can put one of these through. I'll just confirm in MetaMask. And yeah, so then you can see once you've submitted your vote, it gets totaled to the 4 votes column here. And then this gets updated, all this kind of good stuff here as well. So yeah, I mean, that's where it is currently. We have a couple of things that we need to discuss, Micah. So I know we have this functionality as well, where we can actually create a proposal from within the DApp itself. This needed a few fixes from where it was left, but it's actually working now. But I know that you, Daniel, and I talked about maybe getting rid of the reallocation panel, maybe not including this at all. So yeah, maybe this is a good conversation topic to have after the demo. So yeah, that's where it is. Back to you, Micah.
Cool. How about in general, are you ready for like UX and UI feedback, or are you still working on bringing it up to par with Compound?
No, I mean, absolutely. Feedback's welcome at this stage. I've tried to not go too overboard with, basically, to cut a long story short, we had to do some database work as well to get, like this kind of information to make sure that we're storing, what voters have voted on which proposals and linking those and things like that. So I brought it up to, a V1 level, taking inspiration from Compound. But yeah, if there's anything that you think that's missing that should be in, in our product, then yeah, for sure, write up an issue and I'll take a look at it.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be great to get, several pairs of eyeballs on this. If anybody has experience with, participating in decentralized governance on other protocols, it'd be great to get your perspective playing around with this staging environment. We've got it linked in the notes, and somebody might add it to the chat if you haven't already. Let's, unless somebody else had any other questions or comments, I think we should get into a couple of those open questions quickly. So interrupt me if you got any other questions, but yep.
Yeah, I have one minor bit of feedback here. I know, first off, this looks great, Tom. Really, really strong work here. One thing that jumps out at me is like we regularly abbreviate the wallet addresses. And so if I'm coming through and trying to verify stuff for myself and want to dig into Etherscan, this completely breaks that flow for me. And so while I understand the rationale of abbreviating, we should still give them some way to get the full address, whether that's like just linking it and it takes them to Etherscan or a little icon next to it or some treatment there so that we can do that. I think it sort of breaks native blockchain behavior when we abbreviate addresses like that and don't give you some way to see what they are.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense.
More generally, I'm looking forward to getting designers' input on this. That's something that we haven't been able to do much of the past several months, specifically on this particular product. But hopefully we can get some help there really soon. Let's talk for a second about the proposal creation piece that you were showing us a second ago. So to recap, the conclusion that came from the conversation with Daniel, the three of us, maybe 2 weeks ago, was we wanted to focus here on the voting experience because we anticipate that most proposals will be created by our core team in the near future, as kind of encouraged by the off-chain proposals that happen on vote.ousd.com. And so we don't anticipate a lot of proposals coming from less sophisticated users who aren't familiar with submitting on-chain proposals. So
yeah, can I butt in for a second, Mike?
Yeah, jump in.
It's not that we anticipate them all coming from core team users. It's just that kind of the right way to submit some kind of contract change code is by having the whole new contract and change created in code and in GitHub. And so it's not that the core team versus non-core team, it's that proposals are almost certainly to be generated programmatically anyway, as opposed to through the UI.
Gotcha. But
I was just going to say the only other thing here that might just be a nice standard field is a link back to the vote.ousd discussion or votes, any discussion points about it.
Daniel, was there some concern that this smart form that we have here isn't fully featured enough, and that it won't really work for people who do want to just come and use this interface to create a proposal?
I think making it correctly behaved and handle everything that's needed is going to be an enormous amount of work, much bigger than the rest of the thing together, and it's something that's going to need to be updated as we add contracts or change things. So it feels like a whole lot of work for little payoff.
Gotcha.
Also, the reallocation side of things almost where I don't think is planned to be going through governance, since that's usually done through the strategist that can react faster.
Yeah.
Governance would have a multi-day time lock, and there's, so that's another reason the reallocation I don't think we need.
Yeah. So this reallocation feature, it doesn't offer any real like convenience or efficiency for the strategist, does it?
It doesn't. I think that the UIs that we've been passing around in Discord and stuff could be great and could live on this governance domain, but I don't think they're actually, the way this is currently programmed, they're actually fed through the main time lock and for full voting with the full quorum that would be used normally for something like a contract upgrade.
Okay, well, I think it's pretty clear that we should remove the reallocation piece. If nobody feels strongly about keeping the generic proposal creation flow, then I think we could, comment it out for now. If it's just going to add a lot of complexity. How do you feel, Tom, after fixing it?
Yeah, no, it's no problem. I mean, I've not done anything extra to it beyond getting it to work with the current setup. So I've not put that many hours into it. So yeah, I'm fine to omit it.
Okay. Yeah, then just to reiterate what we tentatively concluded a couple weeks ago, then I'd suggest that we focus on the voting experience, and then we can come back to the proposal creation later if we want to reintroduce it.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, let's talk real quickly about the delegate issue that kind of arose along the way. Tom, do you want to explain what the consequence is here if we don't fix the contract side?
Yeah, so basically, as I was putting this together, I came across this UX issue. Well, actually, Doman came across it a couple of weeks ago, and we implemented a UI fix where basically on a one-time basis, before a user can participate in governance, they have to register to vote. But what's actually happening on the smart contract side is that they're actually delegating the votes to themselves, as I understand it. So that we thought that we could kind of get away with not making any contract changes due to this, this vote registration feature that Doman built a couple of weeks ago. But when I was working on this more extensively, it became clear that we have a problem that's really quite bad UX for a user. So yeah, just to go through it as I've detailed it here. So let's say that there's a proposal active in the system that a user wants to vote on. They can only use the vote balance that they had at the proposal's starting block, basically, and that's fine. That's how you'd expect it to pan out. But then a user's vote balance wouldn't qualify unless they'd already gone through the vote registration. So unless they've already delegated their votes to themselves, even if they had a balance at the proposal start block, they wouldn't be able to vote, which to me is quite it's a really bad experience, because they might be coming to the DAP for the first time, and there might be proposals already in the system that they want to vote on, and they wouldn't really be able to do this. And yeah, I've just noted here that I can't really see any UI pattern that would fix this off the top of my head. So I think my recommendation is that we look at the smart contract changes that we could make to kind of make all this go away.
And Daniel, you had some concerns that would raise gas costs for all users, many of which are not ever going to participate in governance.
Yeah, I think that would add about 50K gas, maybe 40K gas for the very first time you used it. And then about, 25. All right. And yeah, 3K for subsequent ones. So every time somebody stakes, that'd be 3K, even if they'd already done it before.
It adds cost to your staking.
Yep.
So 3K is not much, right? 50K is a little bit for first time. I get it. But how big the contract changes would be if we would decide to go that?
We'd be basically putting a ensure delegation method into the code, and then it would at the beginning of staking, and then it would fire off. And if you're not delegated anywhere, it would delegate to yourself.
Okay, so it's a fairly small change then, right?
Correct.
And you said 25 was the high end on the first time stake?
I think that is. I don't remember if I actually ran and sent it there, but yeah, that's kind of an estimate there.
Okay, well, let's give everybody some time to dig into this and understand it. But I think we should try to make a decision on it in the next couple of days, and then if we decide we want to incorporate the contract changes, then put them on the short list for sprint priorities. Does that sound good for now?
Yeah, it doesn't touch anything complicated. So from that point of view, I'm good. It's gas overhead for everyone staking.
Yeah, and it's a good point that we anticipate more stakers than voters. Well, thanks, Tom, for working on all of that and flagging that issue. Frank, we don't need to spend too much time here talking about sprint planning, but there are a couple of things that are probably going to slip because we had some schedule changes over the last couple of weeks for a couple of different people. Anything that we should highlight here? I saw that, Daniel, it looked like you made some progress on the contract verifications that were causing a bunch of headache.
That's done.
All done.
Yep.
Cool. And so I think otherwise you're waiting for this front end work to be done before doing a full blown proposal test in anticipation of handing the contracts over.
Yes, although I have created a proposal on mainnet that's available for testing once we get the UI running on mainnet. And
okay, great. Let's see, what other sprint priorities should we check in on? I think I saw that Shahul might step in and help out with the value accrual, the buyback of OGV, and adding that to the staking rewards. Is that right?
Yeah, so Shai is going to help with that project, the buyback. We need to make a decision in terms of whether we move forward without an OGV oracle or not. So let's sort this out async. But thanks, Shahul, for helping bringing this project to the smart contract project to the finish line. And then the other project is in terms of yield earning strategies. We wanted to launch meta strategy, OUSD meta strategy. I'm waiting on Doman. He had a personal issue, and so I'm waiting on him to see how he's doing before I can give a schedule update on that front.
Okay, thanks. And I'm supposed to be talking to Chainlink in a couple of days, and I can report back on the Oracle issue and find out how delayed that is or how much of an issue it'll be. And then on yield earning strategies, Doman was also in the middle of working on our generic convex strategy or flexible convex strategy, whatever. We need to come up with a proper name for that thing. But I think that is a relatively high priority. But I know, Daniel, you've been digging into some other potential strategies that we've floated. And I'm wondering how you're feeling about actually using the flexible convex strategy versus building something different, whether it's Uniswap or Balancer or whatever else.
I guess there's several different parts to it. One is, how much yield is this likely to make? Is there giant economic risk? What are the economic risk patterns of it? And then what are the smart contract risk amounts? And then kind of make our decision there. Because sometimes projects that look like they have a good API are fundamentally economically unsound. And so I've been working on the very first step, which is is this kind of like base level sane, and does it make money? And so I've been running through that also with Uniswap, with Balancer, as well as Oasis this morning. But I don't actually have answers or really ranked stuff, but I'm updating the spreadsheet as I go and actually understanding them so I can have intelligent discussions on it.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for doing that.
I think one,
yep.
core thing that's a consideration is where we are on USDT. To me, it looks like USDT is out of any immediate danger of, if they were under collateralized or anything, because withdrawals have stopped. My only concern now is a heightened sense that they may get some kind of government action, which is kind of the remaining big risk hanging out. Otherwise, we could move back into USDT and boost our yields some, as well as that opens up more options for earning yield. I think one of the simplest things we could do to earn more yield at this moment would be Uniswap, USDT, USDC, which is earning about 3% yield and is basically no smart contract risk and no more economic risk than, it would be at the minimum level of economic risk we could have with anything that's got USDT in it.
That would require us building like a new strategy from the ground up. We don't have anything
Right.
that any existing code we could reuse for a Uniswap strategy, right?
That's correct.
Actually, I think like 2 years ago we started to build one. We had a contributor,
We did.
but
Yep. But that was Uniswap V2 with its V3s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I don't. Yeah.
It seems like a nice thing to have in our toolbox. Uniswap is such a major player, and being on stablecoin pairs there just makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm in favor of moving back into USDT and also figuring out how much work is involved with a Uniswap strategy. Not to be a broken drum here, but we need to start launching new strategies. We have to take our APY more seriously and figure out how to get our yield numbers up. And then just by the way, going back to the Chainlink Oracle question, I just checked what their requirements are. And so the requirements they have are 3 trusted exchanges, i.e. Not the ones that are known for wash trading, but it can be either DEXs or centralized exchanges. And the real issue for us is we need at least $3 million a day of daily trading volume. So we're not there yet, but hopefully we can get there with increased marketing and more exchange listings, etc.
And so we can run the math on the buybacks and see how much of an issue it could possibly be, and possibly just YOLO it and turn it on and with smaller amounts and see what happens.
Okay, I'll follow up on that tomorrow maybe, and then let's have a separate meeting and develop a plan around strategies, since we've got several kind of up in the air in various states of progress. Does that sound good? Okay then. Last thing that I had on this part of the agenda was checking in on the wallet and token support projects. And so we got some notes here from Jeremy. Thanks to him for his continued efforts to push all these forward. DeFi Llama merged a PR to show OGV staking in there. Thanks to Roland for doing the engineering side of that. Instadap is interested in supporting OUSD on their assembly product, and then the proposal that he had created with Element Finance is moving along, at least from the draft to proposed status. So if you haven't taken a look at that yet, it's probably a good idea to do that and weigh in and try to see if we can move that forward in their governance process. Peter, are you here? Do you have any highlights from the past week on this topic?
Yes, I am here. 1 second while I grab my notes. Okay, so got the all the Origin tokens supported on a couple different platforms. Sablier, Kyberswap, and I think now DBank. It's all good there. In process on a couple other platforms such as SafePal, Uphold, and Tangany. And I think that's it for now.
Cool, thanks. And you saw my a reminder about CoinMarketCap because they're still showing the low circulating supply. I know you're pushing them, but that's fairly important. So let's make sure that they don't forget about that.
Okay, yeah, I will follow up with them.
Okay, thanks so much. And it did look like CoinGecko has fixed theirs, so they're now using our endpoints. And thanks to Roland and Franck for getting those to work. On the as far as existing governance proposals are concerned, we don't have any new ones this week other than the funds allocation that we do every week. So look at vote.ousd.com and you can participate in deciding how the roughly $49 million worth of funds are allocated across our strategies. Are there any other topics or questions from anyone before we get some introductions? If not, is there anyone who wanted to say hi? If it's your first time here, you want to tell us how you found us, what you're working on, what you're excited about, anything along those lines, feel free to unmute anytime. If we don't have anyone that wanted to say hi, then we'd love for you to come back next week and take that opportunity to do it. I remember a couple of action items that I did not capture. One was for me to follow up on the decision about the Chainlink Oracle, and then also schedule a separate conversation about potential strategies. And maybe we can host that meeting later this week in Discord, and others can jump in if they want to be involved. That's all that I have on the agenda for today. Unless there's anything else before we go, then I will see you at the same time, same place next week.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.